Texas rap is a landscape of contradictions. In Houston, it's syrupy flows and diamond grills. In Dallas, it's bounce music and club anthems. But in Fort Worth, just 30 miles to the west, birthed something darker, something unfiltered, something dangerous. And at the center of all of it was one chaotic figure who couldn't be ignored, even if you wanted to. Go Yayo. To some, he was Fort Worth's future, a gifted young rapper with a style that could light up the screen and the stage. To others, he was a menace, an unpredictable fire starter whose beefs, arrests, outbursts made him more famous than his music. But Go Yayo wasn't just a rapper. He was a symbol of what happens when trauma, talent, and street politics collide with the camera, an iPhone, and a SoundCloud account. His real name is Kyron Xavier Peters, but by the time most people learned that name, he was already viral, rapping in his mama's house, smoking dope on Instagram Live, and running from the police, with his city watching like it was a show. And maybe that's what it became, a show. Go Yayo turned his life into content and the streets into a stage. But in Fort Worth, there's a price for fame, especially when your music hits too close to home. In a city better known for cowboy hats and cattle drives, Go Yayo put the spotlight on the reality underneath: gang wars, dead friends, unsolved murders, and kids with nothing to lose. He gave the South Side a voice, but that voice came with volume, and the whole state started to listen. Still, there was always a mystery to him. Why was he constantly at war with other rappers? Why did he get banned from local schools? Why did he keep getting locked up just as his music started to blow? Why did everyone who got close to him either fall, flip, or disappear? Some said he was cursed. Others said he was chosen. Either way, Go Yayo wasn't just another rapper from Texas. He was the Super Saiyan of Fort Worth. Loud, violent, gifted, paranoid, brilliant, self-destructive, and his story isn't just about him. It's about a whole generation of young artists trying to survive the most dangerous drill scene you've never heard about: Dallas, Fort Worth. This is the real story: the rise, the fall, and the resurrection of Go Yayo, Fort Worth's wildest son. The story of Go Yayo, like many in the street rap scene, isn't just about talent. It's about survival. A few years ago, Go Yayo went viral, setting the stage for his future in the music world. But his rise came with its own set of hurdles, many of which were grounded in the very environment that helped propel him to success. Fort Worth, known for its complicated gang politics and history of violence, became a backdrop to Yayo's battles, not just with rival factions, but with the law. But Yayo had made his name from something deeper: his authenticity, his connection to his roots, and his raw delivery, which resonated with fans from the streets to the internet. Go Yayo's viral moment came after the release of his track Sick of It, which quickly gained traction all across the internet. The song wasn't just another drill track. It was a gritty reflection of life in Fort Worth. People connected with the realness, the pain, and the hunger behind the bars. But while Yayo was gaining a national following, he was also stepping into a dangerous game. His affiliation with street gangs, specifically his ties to the Crips, meant that every move was being watched closely. It was as if he was walking a razor-thin line where one misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences. His rise was inseparable from his ties to his community and the codes that govern it. Crip politics in Fort Worth weren't just about throwing up signs and rapping for the streets. They were about control: who had it, who didn't, and who was willing to fight for it. Yayo wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a representation of something bigger than himself, and that would soon put him in the crosshairs of several local figures who didn't see him as an ally, but as a threat.
You can usually find that community leader here at Morningside Middle School, encouraging students to stay on the right track, especially after seeing so much violent crime in our community.
In the wake of several violent altercations between rival factions, Fort Worth police have heightened their presence in high crime neighborhoods. Go Yayo has been mentioned multiple times in connection with local gang violence, though he hasn't been formally charged. Yayo's rise has also meant more eyes on him, both from his own community and the local authorities. It was a balancing act, keeping his street credibility intact while also trying to break through the mainstream. His battles weren't just with the other rappers or gang members. They were with the very system that sought to criminalize him at every turn. And that tension would soon boil over. His performances became more than just shows. They were a message, a declaration that he wouldn't be silenced, no matter the cost. But every performance brought new risks. His beef with other local rappers and personalities, particularly with Charleston White, became a public spectacle, a war of words. That was hard to ignore. The internet fed the fire, and the streets were watching closely. The social media feud between Go Yayo and Charleston White has escalated, with both men trading insults and threats online. Yayo, a rising star in the drill scene, is facing off against Charleston White, a controversial figure known for his outspoken opinions on the hip-hop community and gang culture. But the feud was just one chapter in a much larger story. The tension that was brewing on social media soon spilled over into real life, and the consequences would be felt far beyond the online world. In the streets, loyalty is everything, and when Go Yayo's cousin Bedo was shot, everything changed. It wasn't just another act of violence, it was a message, a sign that no one, no matter how successful, was safe. Go Yayo spoke about his cousin being shot in interviews, but glossed over it.
Now, if that shit happened to me and my baby or something, people have been like, oh, that's Yayo, he act like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People probably be fucked up, but it wouldn't hit as hard. It hit harder for my city, bro, because my brother don't be on nothing.
But you could see on his face that this was a wake-up call. He wasn't invincible. With news of his cousin being shot, Yayo's next moves were more calculated. He should be happy. He just got out of prison. But at the time, Bedo getting shot wasn't the worst news that he had received. At the same time, he was dealing with tragedy that he thought he'd never have to face. But with all this bad news came with some blessings. But it would also weigh on him, pushing him further into the corner of the streets where he had to decide, continue fighting for his place in the rap game or risk everything for revenge. By spring 2025, Go Yayo's world was unraveling in slow motion. The violence he once rapped about was no longer just a background noise. It was at his doorstep. On March 3rd, tragedy struck the heart of his circle. Get Money Lil Ronnie, Yayo's longtime friend, fellow rapper, and one of the few constants in his chaotic life, was ambushed while vacuuming his Dodge Challenger at a neighborhood car wash. His 5-year-old daughter, Romani, sat quietly in the front seat. Surveillance footage would later reveal the horror in detail. 2 suspects emerged from a white Kia, rounded the corner of the building, and opened fire with an assault rifle and handguns. Ronnie tried to run, but they chased him, cornered him, and finished the job. Romani never stood a chance. 3 bullets tore through the windshield. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. The shooters fled the scene, dishing their weapons and the Kia in a nearby lot. One of them had reportedly told his girlfriend to delete their text because something had happened. Whatever beef led to this moment, the cost was unbearable. For Yayo, this wasn't just the streets anymore. This was family, this was blood, and the streets weren't finished. Just a few weeks later, his cousin Bedo, known as rapper Bedo Rich Ass, was ambushed outside a gas station in Dallas. He took a bullet to the head and somehow survived. Hours later, Bedo posted a video from the back of an ambulance, bloodied but conscious, calling the hit simply hood beef. The streets weren't just active, they were on fire. And Yayo, once the wildest one in the room, started moving different. The paranoia set in, so did the silence. In an interview he gave that month, Yayo didn't sound like the same man. He said, "I done lost real people this year. Ain't no ops laughing over here. I'm still standing, but this be changing me." Fans noticed his online presence, sporadic, tense, and behind the scenes, a new battle was brewing. Charleston White, the controversial activist turned provocateur, launched a campaign to discredit Go Yayo entirely, calling him a fake gangster, a danger to kids, and a fraud. But the real question is why? What was it about Go Yayo that made Charleston White keep coming back again and again with so much venom? By 2021, Go Yayo wasn't just fighting enemies in the streets. He was fighting them online too. But this wasn't just another clout-chasing rap beef. His opponent, Charleston White, former Fort Worth gang member turned outspoken activist. The kind of man who would praise the police on Facebook, then tell you he'd call the feds in a heartbeat. And he had Go Yayo in his sights. The tensions boiled over when Go Yayo showed up at a Fort Worth middle school to motivate kids for the state STAR test. Cameras captured him performing like it was a mini concert. But behind the beats, there was backlash. Charleston White and his nonprofit partners led the charge, demanding answers from Fort Worth ISD about how a rapper known for violence and drug use ended up in a classroom. But White wasn't just mad about the school. He was coming for Go Yayo's entire persona. Charleston said what a lot of older folks in Fort Worth have been thinking. Yayo wasn't just dangerous. He was glorifying the very life that had already taken so many from the city and the local community. But Go Yayo wasn't backing down. In interviews, he dismissed Charleston White as a clout chaser, accusing him of stealing his style, his attitude, even his identity, as Fort Worth's loudest voice. As the beef with Charleston White flared online, Yayo was already sinking into legal trouble. He had been caught in a dramatic police chase while already out on 5 separate gun charges. When the feds stepped in, it was already game over. Yayo got hit with 41 months behind bars. But now, the streets of Fort Worth weren't just dangerous, they were watching. In a rare interview, Yayo was asked how he felt about Sauce Walka getting shot in Memphis. His response? More of them need to die. Charleston White saw it as proof Go Yayo was tricking himself off the streets. And maybe he was right. In Texas, the divide between Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston isn't just about geography. It's about politics. It's about pride. It's about pain. And when the city lines blurred into digital battlefields, Go Yayo was at the center of it all, facing enemies from every direction. What started as mutual respect between Sauce Walka and Go Yayo quickly spiraled into one of the messiest rap beefs in Texas. Fans claimed it was over the catchphrase, "Scoot up." But Yayo says it was deeper than that, a chemistry that was never real. He didn't respect Sauce, not then, not now. The beef simmered down while Yayo was still dealing with street politics in Fort Worth. But after his brother, best friend, and ride or die was killed in Houston, everything exploded. Bloggers linked Sauce's name to the aftermath, even though there was no direct evidence. But emotionally, Yayo had already made his decision. Texas had become a battlefield. His cousin Bedo was shot in the head. It was the second time he had been hit. Yayo had seen too much and lost too many. For a while, Go Yayo had left Texas, not out of fear, but strategy. Tighten up, he said. Move militant. Move strategic. Still, leaving Texas wasn't the goal. He wasn't running from it. He was planning to come back smarter. In California, Yayo found love he wasn't getting in his home state. He called himself the top op in Texas, the one the industry was trying to blackball. But he didn't blame Sauce for that. Not entirely. He accused him of clout chasing, aligning with his enemies out of spite. But to Yayo, that was weak. Running to the ops because you're mad at me? He stood on one thing, realness. Through all the online smoke and real-life gunfire, one thing kept trying to stop him: jail. Yayo bounced in and out, but kept pushing. Independent, unfiltered, unapologetic. He might be hated, he might be hunted, but Go Yayo survived. Not because he played the game, but because he refused to lose himself to it. And in a state where everybody's claiming king, he's not asking for a crown. He's just daring someone to take it off his head. Since his release, Go Yayo has been relentless, diving headfirst into the streets with unyielding energy. In Dallas, tensions escalated when Go Yayo and his cousin Bedo encountered TSF affiliate Treetop 7. A confrontation ensued, resulting in a physical altercation that quickly spread across social media platforms. While details remain sparse, all the while the rumors suggested that Go Yayo and Bedo put the beats down on Treetop 7 for claiming TSF too close to Dallas and too close to Fort Worth.
Hey, say no cap. It's on all 5 of my kids, nigga. I just made a TSF on itself. So all my little boys, man. Saw your years, thought it was over with for them on my kids. Hit them all in the face with their yeah. A bitch on the set. Run fast in the too, boy. I'm telling you, boy, got some feet on y'all on the set. Ain't no TSF Dallas. None of that, no TSF Fort Worth. Take this down 45 back to Houston.
The incident underscores the volatile relationship within the Texas rap scene and the potential consequences of such encounters. Go Yayo's confrontational nature isn't new. During his incarceration, he reportedly engaged in multiple altercations, including an incident with a Sereno gang member. In an interview, he recounted the challenges he faced in prison, stating, "My first altercation, like my third day in the feds. This is not TDC, cause Texas." These experiences have shaped Go Yayo's perspective, fueling his music and public persona. However, they also raise questions about his trajectory. With a history of confrontations both inside and outside of prison walls, the path ahead for Go Yayo remains uncertain. Can he channel his experiences into a sustainable career, or will past patterns repeat? The rise, the conflicts, the resilience. This is Go Yayo's story. The next chapter is unwritten, but if history is any indicator, it won't be without challenges.